There's a spiritual aspect to my life, in the fact that my life is being guided day by day, in the sense that God is protecting me and keeping me from much of the problems. I mean, when I first used to travel a little bit in ministry, I remember going to India in 1968, and I got dysentery there like you would not believe. I mean, you know, everything there is very unsanitary and so on. And I used to just get dysentery, and I'd hate to go there, but I had to go there for ministry. But today, I travel in all those countries, and in African countries, I don't get dysentery. I don't get any of their diseases. I have to get certain immunizations because the government demanded. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even bother getting any of those either. So, this is what it means to be born from above. I have the witness in myself, and you must have that witness in yourself. Now, this is not a big deal. It's not like you've got to go through some process in order to be born from above. It's a believing, that's all it is. Because otherwise your mind says, no, I'm just a creature of this earth. That my mother and father were the ones that produced me, the egg and the sperm, and my mother birthed me through her womb, and that's who I am. Well, if that's true, then you are subject to everything that this earth has for you, which includes all the sicknesses, pain, suffering, and everything else that's going on. And it means that your circumstances, I mean, you know, you see, I don't believe I'll have an accident. And I've had people say to me, you know, I have a terrible fear of flying. I said, you get on the aircraft with me and you'll be safe. I said, the aircraft I get on will not crash. You say, well, you know, is that reality? Of course it is. I'm born from above. My life is not subject to this world, it's subject to the spiritual world. That's the world in which God lives. That's where Christ dwells, in that world. And I'm simply, I have changed my citizenship, if you like. Instead of just being Des Walter that was born on the earth here in 1930, I now understand that my life began way back in the beginning, and I came out of God. I am a creature of the Spirit of God. That's what I am. And I didn't have to do anything to get that. That was a consciousness. That was coming to the understanding that, yes, that was my beginning. And that if I'm a child of God, God is not a resident of this earth. You understand what I'm saying? I don't mean God's not here, but I mean he's not a resident of this earth. He belongs to another world. And so do I. And so do you, if you can understand it. So tonight I want you to get this, because this is very important. You are a creature of another world. You are spirit, because that's how you were created in the beginning. Your birthing simply gave you a body that you could live in this world. You needed that to live in this world. But you are not your body. You are spirit. And that spirit is Christ. And Christ belongs to the other world. Okay? So now, this is what he says in verse 11. He says, this is the record that God has given to us, eternal life. You see, your parents gave you mortal life. That's all they could give you, because that's what they had. They had mortal life. But because we came out of God, God doesn't have mortal life. God has eternal life. So therefore, I have eternal life, because I've been born out of that other world. I have been born out of God. God is spirit, therefore I must be spirit, and spirit belongs to that world, not this one. So, he says, he that has the Son has life. And if you don't have the Son of God, then you don't have life. It's as simple as that. There's no big, religious, what shall we say, nonsense attached to this. It's very simple. If you have that Christ of God dwelling in you, he is the Son of God. That means you are the Son of God. And it means that you have been born from above, because the Christ is in you. But to believe it makes it functional in your life. In other words, it's when you believe it that becomes a reality for you. Then you can live in this world, and you can live in safety, you can live without fear, you can live with confidence that life that's in you is eternal. It is eternal. Oh Lord, help us. See? These are the things that really make the difference. Now, I'm going to show you something else here tonight in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16. Now here's something else that you need to get a hold of. There's so much. I mean, I sat there this afternoon and I said, Lord, what do you want me to share? There's so much that I would like to share. I would need to have, at least a week of meetings and, to be able to share at least the foundation of this life we're talking about. But here we go, tonight. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16, it says, "For this cause we do not faint. Though our outward man is perishing, we have an inner man that is being renewed every day." Think about this. He said, it's like there's two people involved in this. It's like, this is the outer man of my earthly being. This is my mortal body. He said, so we've got this mortal body, which is the outer man, but you also have that spiritual man on the inside. So it's like two men. One is mortal, belongs to this world. The other one is spirit, and he belongs to that other world. So now this is very important for us, because this is how the Christian life functions. And this is how we can get victory over our bodies, and so on and so on. Because it says here, though our outward man is perishing, well, cells are being destroyed every day in our bodies. Some are being renewed, but a lot of them are not. So when they did that genome study, to try and get the DNA of the human body and map it out, what they did was they thought they had found a gene which they said at about the age of 40, this gene was like a switch, and it just flicked the switch and said, okay, now you guys, you've been replenishing all of these cells, you've done a wonderful job. Now just take a little bit of a holiday, slow down, because now we're on the kind of the downward run toward the end. This is what the people doing the DNA believe. I don't believe there is such a gene, but anyway, it doesn't matter to me. But they reckon that flicks in about when you're, about 40. But listen, it says here, though our outward man perish, the inner man is being renewed. So the inner man is not aging one little bit. The inner man, which is Christ, he's not getting old. How old is he now? I don't know how many million years old he is.